Why are you demonstrating here today?
Well, we want to tell Hillary Clinton, who just came into Ramallah, that there's no moral equation. She cannot equate what's happening in Gaza. Hamas are targeting civilians in Israel. Israel is targeting terrorists in Gaza. The fact that civilians are being killed in Gaza is the responsibility of Hamas. They don't allow their civilians to leave the buildings. They don't build them bomb shelters. They don't teach them what to do when they're being bombed. Israel puts a lot of money into developing systems to guard the civilians. But Hamas uses their civilians as human shields. There is no moral equation, Hillary.
Look, the ceasefire is only good in the short term, a few moments of relief. We know from previous experience that any ceasefire we've ever had with Hamas coming out of Gaza has not lasted more than a few hours to a few days. It gives them time to rebuild, refortify, to get more weapons coming in through their whether through their Iranian connections or through Egypt, and they only continue to fire at our people. The South, as we know, in the last almost 8 years since the expulsion from Gush Katif, has been under attack through every ceasefire, whether it was in one of the other battles that we had there. They continue to say ceasefire, they scream ceasefire, and then they continue to shoot missiles at our civilian population. So we know that a ceasefire is nothing more than, for us, a momentary breath of air. And it only means more murders, more attacks. We want our government and our army to go in to Gaza to level all, absolutely all, the militia there, all the terrorist sites there. We are concerned for the civilians, but we recognize that Gaza uses their civilians as human shields, whereas Israel takes every effort not to harm a civilian. Hamas aims specifically at our civilians and then hides behind theirs. It's a double criminality. We want Tzahal to go into Gaza and take back our land and bring peace to the millions of Israelis now living most of their time in bomb shelters, and we want it to last.
A couple of concerned grandmothers standing at the entrance to Beit and to Ramallah. We're here, Hillary Clinton, not only to welcome you, but to beg you, to plead with you, to come right to visit Beit, to see the Jewish people. We've returned to our homeland. We're a peaceful settlement. We are flourishing here, and we want to live peacefully. The Arabs have launched more than 1,200 rockets to kill, to mutilate, to maim, to murder. They use their children as human shields. We are not the aggressors. We are simply defending ourselves. We not only have the right to defend ourselves, we have the obligation to defend ourselves. Our children are in the army. Our grandchildren are in the army. Our children are in bomb shelters. More than 1 million Israeli citizens are scurrying to bomb shelters. It's not fair. It's not right. Come see the other side. Come sit with us. We can't have a ceasefire with terrorists. The terrorists will just rearm, refortify themselves, and it's all coming from Iran. We have to do something. We can't succumb to terror.
I'm here today to support our soldiers, to tell anybody out there how lopsided the media coverage is of everything that's been going on. Everything, or almost everything that you read says, this fight started when Israel targeted a Hamas leader and assassinated him. This began way, way, way before that. It began years ago with civilians in the areas around Gaza being bombarded daily with rockets, having to run 3, 4, 5 times a day into shelters, having their lives completely disrupted. This is unacceptable. It cannot be allowed to continue like this. And when Israel fights, we're always fighting with one hand tied behind our backs. because we're fighting told, yes, your cause is right, but don't get too violent, don't hurt any civilians. Well, how do they expect us not to hurt civilians when the Hamas are hiding among them? Okay? They're hiding among them. They're shooting their rockets from backyards of civilian homes. They're cowards. They're cowards. Let them fight out in the open, okay? They're not doing that. And then they cry when civilians are killed. Nobody likes to see civilians killed. Nobody likes to see mothers and women, children killed. Okay? But this is a side effect of what's happening and a direct result of them fighting among their people. Take the fight where it belongs, and then let's see what happens.